So today, Pinkie Keen, no. Nightmare Moon, really good subject, but I would have to research more about that, and I really don't feel like it today. Pinkie Pride. So this episode starts off with a party. Of course, it's named Pinkie Pride. Why not start it off with a party? But it doesn't start with Pinkie Pie Party. It starts in Appaloosa, where the buffalo and people of and the pony folk of Appaloosa. People, what are people? I don't know what a person is. What's a person? I might have to ask someone that. Maybe someone I know. And you find a mysterious character named Cheese Sandwich with his sidekick Boneless. And this scene is quickly broken by with its serious mood. From the party to the serious mood, it was broken there. But after the cheese sense, it just completely broke apart. That definitely speaks volumes about this episode to begin with. It shows that this episode should not be taken very seriously, like past Pinkie Pie episodes. Pinkie Keen, I'm looking at you. So skipping to that first song in the episode, not the intro song, but the first Pinkie Pie song, Pinkie Pie is planning for Rainbow Dash's party. Getting ready to, plan it. Grabbing all her supplies. Oh, so I want those bags. Gosh darn, if I had those bags, what could I store in them? What could I store? Yeah. Anyway, this song feels really well timed. Well, not really. It feels actually pretty clunkily timed. But it shows Pinkie Pie's joy at the beginning of the episode, and definitely shows how happy she is to do this for her friend. Now, as we get through the song and near the end, she is painting a banner, but for who? Rainbow Dash. It's more than just Rainbow Dash's birthday, though, as we are told throughout the episode. It's her birth-anniversary for coming to Ponyville and her birthday. Ironic. And as they are talking, a fellow named Cheese Sandwich, our antagonist for this episode, comes in a very serious tone, saying, if I remember correctly, I don't think so, I know so, and breaking into his first song, lying about his past, or at least telling about his past. Giving off this very general thing I'm going to be speaking today, I think it's actually a pretty good episode, real quick, and I love the first two songs so far. So far, actually pretty good, and I'm enjoying it. Now, as everyone is swept up except Pinkie Pie by Cheese Sandwich's smooth talking, good singing vocalist, it's shown to give off a very distinct feel of he's better than her, and she gets it pretty fast with her fourth wall breaking abilities, I guess, I don't know. Well, Rainbow Dash, Twilight, and all her friends are wrapped up. Pinkie Pie is sitting there alone, and she's wondering, am I the biggest party planner? Now, this is actually a pretty serious tone for Pinkie Pie, at least. And as we get along, as Cheese Sandwiches starts planning the party, Pinkie Pie is shown at the cakes, in front of there with a banner all alone. As Twilight comes over to ask her if she's going to help plan the party, Pinkie quickly grabs the thing and looks spry and spiffy. But her vocal pattern shows that she isn't happy. Now, this is probably the biggest part of the episode that gives me a gripe. Twilight has probably been a good friend of Pinkie Pie's for a while now. Even with the same look of Pinkie Pie, she should have been able to tell in the vocal pattern of Pinkie Pie that something was not right. And personally, this is a personal biff of mine, but I really don't think this fits the episode at all. It makes things feel very clunky here. Also, Twilight's levitating, which also ticks me off a little bit because animation errors are a bit annoying. Granted, they gave us All Hail the Derp Queen, but, yeah. Anyway. Pinkie Pie goes upstairs, starts deflating balloons, and I like the scene of her trying to do different jobs, but in her own Pinkie way. Putting streamer bombs in mailboxes, putting balloons on, a building. Ugh. Sorry, I'm not an architect, everyone. A building's outer piece with foundation and the building falling apart as she's pushed away. And she doesn't really know what to do with her life. This is probably the biggest part of Pinkie of this episode. This is where she gets to her lowest. Going up around her house, deflating all her balloons, putting up her party cannon, and then she looks at the picture starting to sing her next song. This song, I have to say bravo to the person who sings Pinkie Pie's voice. Bravo. You perfectly represented a sad to a happy arc, to confidence in Pinkie Pie again. Putting that vocalization of this one pink prestigious pony. From happy to sad to happy again. This episode tells a very, very good story with Pinkie Pie's vocals alone, with how her voice changes, how it becomes sad, how you can tell in the tone of her voice. This episode does that very well, and for any writers, if they ever found this, I have to say, take a page of this writer's book. This is how a Pinkie Pie episode is done, people. Sorry, I had to get out of the way. Anyway, and she gets the confidence. As you see, she's planning Dash's party. Pinkie Pie is slowly watching from the background with a box, with a present over her body, flappers on her feet, flappers on her feet, and a balloon animal over her head. She watches Cheese Sandwich trying to figure out how to challenge him, and after a quick scene or two, she challenges him to a goof-off, which puts everyone in a gasp, and Fluttershy under Applejack asks Fluttershy, what's a goof-off? Fluttershy has no idea, but she's afraid of course playing this. Now, this isn't the best scene, I have to say, Fluttershy and Applejack, but it's somewhat one. Now, as we get into the beginning of the goof-off, Spike gives off a quick quip about Twilight and books. Twilight reads off the rules and let the goof-off begin. I like the goof-off, but at the same time, it definitely didn't have that je ne sais quoi for me. The switching between Weird Al's vocals and the person who plays Pinkie Pie's vocals, it doesn't feel very put together. It feels actually pretty thrown together. Even with the animations between the two, it doesn't feel like this is an actually usable song. It just doesn't feel right. For me, anyway. Everything here just kind of feels somewhat thrown in its own asset, and doesn't really feel like the episode really needs to, which is streamline, sadly. And this just doesn't work out in the episode's favor for me. The rest of the songs in this episode are good, but this one song just peeves me to no end. This song was not very well done. It's better when the two are on their own or sing in a duo, but against each other in a vocal battle, the song feels very clunky, unput together, and very distraught in its own way. As the goof-off continues, Pinkie Pie is standing on top of a giant piñata. Somebody seriously get me that piñata. I mean, how much candy or stuff or money, I mean, gems or anything you could store in that giant piñata will just be enormous, and would be amazing. I would love it so much, and I'm pretty sure everyone would too. But as soon as it falls on Rainbow Dash, as she tries to struggle out of it, Pinkie Pie looks over and realizes the rainbow connection has been connected. And we get to see that Pinkie Pie's friend, she finally realizes, is not having fun and stops the goof-off. Now, I think this is actually a pretty well scene for Pinkie Pie's character to develop a little bit. Know when to party and know when you're taking it too far. That'd be a great place for Pinkie Pie, and it would work definitely for her. But, of course, you can't have everything you want. And in this episode, that's sadly how it is. And for a lot of the Pinkie Pie episodes, it is. Now, as we get through this, Pinkie Pie stops it and forfeits it to Cheese. Cheese was having so much fun, he really didn't realize it until after she said it, and it took him a minute. Because he was surprised that the person like Pinkie Pie would give up so easily. But when it comes to her friends, Pinkie Pie really has shown in this episode that she cares more about her friends than she does her own personal joy. Now, as she packs up to leave, her friends stop her, of course, and, well, tries to reason with her. But Pinkie Pie wanted to keep to her word, and then here comes Cheese Sandwich, and, well, he kind of goes with her, tells her his actual backstory of how shy he was, and that Pinkie Pie was the one who showed him how to have fun and how to enjoy himself with others. This really does get with me, because it shows how much his character could actually have been and not is. And, well, this is actually a pretty good segment for me, because it shows Pinkie Pie's learning about Cheese Sandwich in this one section. Now, after that, he gives her Boneless, and she realizes that maybe it's not her own pride that needs to be getting in the way. Well, the party continues, and I thought this episode was relatively good. Granted, it had its few problems here and there, but other than that, it felt a pretty streamlined episode, and for all, this is how you do a Pinkie Pie episode. Granted, Cheese could have had a lot better characterization because of Weird Al and who Weird Al actually is, how much more Cheese Sandwich could have been, but it's understandable because they didn't want Cheese Sandwich overshadowing Pinkie Pie in characterization, which is really interesting at the same time, making them equals in mind, but Cheese in partying is actually a higher end because he learned from Pinkie Pie and, well, surpassed her. And this is actually what that makes the episode the best. Now, sadly, the arc between the story itself was so fastly done. I hate how this was a 30 minutes because this could have easily been a 40 or 50 minute episode. But of course, you have to have that 30-minute timeline, sadly, of the episode's runtime. So, other than that, I really found the episode good, and that one song, it just got on my nerves. For the most part, I think all the songs and the episode itself is great. But, to be honest, the put of the one last song and how rushed the episode actually feel, I give this episode an 8 out of 10. And I definitely recommendation to watch this episode a couple of times, because you might get a couple of references that you didn't notice the first or second time through. Anyway, thank you all for watching. This is my thoughts over Pinkie Pride, and remember, keep the beat going.